Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Wednesday, the 12th of July. Here you can see you have our tables in front of us. We're starting to see that yen strength come on to the tables now. It is now featured on the trend trader side of things. So we're going to be looking a little bit at our yen today, in particular dollar yen, as we head into a little bit of a risk event as well with the CPI data out today. So it's going to be an interesting event coming up. Could that give us a little bit of volatility? Could it help us enter a potential position? That's what we're going to be taking a look at going into today's video. Pound Aussie was on our tables yesterday, was featured as our pair in focus for the past couple of days. We finally got triggered into a move around about the 1.9275 handle. We went to about 40 pips of drawdown, but we're now in about 50 pips of profit. We're about 80 pips in profit at the moment, or was, sorry. So this one is live at the minute, and we're just seeing if this one can continue to trade to the upside. The 4-hour chart looks pretty good here at the moment. We're continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. We're just looking to see if the pound will continue its momentum. We did have Governor Bailey speaking not so long ago, so the market, I think, is still digesting that data, but pound's still here as a strong currency at this current moment in time. Although it is S3 on both, we're still happy to hold this one for now. Hopefully it can trade through those highs and towards our targets at the 197 handle. So yeah, about 50 pips up at the moment. We'll see if that can continue. Not too much to say about this one, so we'll head over to our next chart of interest. So dollar yen is something that me and Charles have spoken about this morning, something that we're both interested in, a position to the downside. If I just actually take a look at the higher time frame here first, you can see that price recently came towards that 145 handle, 145.50. In fact, 145 was pretty much the high, and we saw price turn around, breaking through key highs at 142. We've just also traded through the highs at the 141 handle, and price is continuing to make its way lower. Now, the only thing here with dollar yen, I'll just actually quickly go down to that hourly. Let's just hide this for a second, so that you can see what I'm talking about on the higher time frames. Okay, so we'll just go back to that daily chart now. You can see that price has actually come into an area of support here. So we've traded to the upside, we've broken back down, we're breaking through key structure points, but now we are back at sort of the prior consolidation, I would say. Price has been pretty much consolidating, moving to the upside, consolidate, move to the upside. We've had a very deep retracement now, and we're back in that prior sort of consolidation zone. So we could find a little bit of support here, and that's what we're kind of almost banking on in terms of with this data coming out. Can we get a pullback? Can it then continue down to the big level of support, which we've got marked in as the 137.75, or even the 200 moving average, which we've got marked in at 137.28. So happy to look for opportunities, especially because it does top our day traders and it does feature on the trend traders as well. So this is a market that I'm particularly interested in getting involved with. Now, if we have a little look at the hourly chart there, you can see I've kind of mapped out a little sort of area of interest for us already. Just in discussions with Charles, we were looking for a good entry point. Now, I am just going to put the period separators on, because the reason why I'll explain in a moment. But you can see here with yesterday's price action, yesterday's high comes in at around about 141.47. Now, we were looking for entry points, and you can see I've have this downward bearish channel put in here with the trend line forming in from the highs in July, or 6th of July, I should say, sorry. And that trend line there comes into a bit of an intersection around about the 140.60 handle, where you can see the 50 moving average is starting to kind of come into line with as well. And this is why we've talked about this area. It's because we've got multiple confluences at that point. So not only do we have kind of like a little bit of a horizontal area of resistance, we have 50 moving average as resistance as well, as well as this trend line resistance. Okay, so we've got multiple resistances at this point, which could be an area where if price was to spike up, maybe with the volatility this afternoon, could it then see a continuation back to the downside? We've got that long-term trend line as potential targets, as well as around about the 138 spot 30 if we're going to be a little bit more aggressive with an area to get out with. So like this area in here in particular, we need to see obviously price pull back, but I'm going to be looking at an entry at 140 spot 60. 106 pips takes us above previous day's high, which is a good thing, because I think if price was to break through these levels of resistance and break the previous day's high, it's going to be game over for us really on this trade anyway. So yeah, definitely something to consider when looking at this market, is where we can potentially position ourselves. Now price is, you know, 100 pips away from that entry idea, which is in the ATR as well, which can also be a good sign, because if price does move the ATR back, then at least it will be at an area where it comes into some resistance. So I still like this market for some further downside. Would have been nice to maybe have jumped onto this one a little bit earlier, but we didn't have the confluence there with the yen until now. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in the next couple of days or so. So dollar yen, like that pullback there, it's going to be our pair in focus for a move. Now we've been triggered into pound Aussie. We did talk about some other markets this week as well, and if you followed some of those other markets, then you would be doing pretty well. So if we head up to CAD Swiss here, you can see that price recently fell to the downside. So I actually took profits on this position. We got in around about the 66.97 area. We got out down around about 60 pips or so back at these lows here, and you can see it was a good area to actually get out for now, because price has since just moved sideways. So if you did manage to take that position there, you would have profited nicely on that move. Another market that was of interest was Aussie Swiss. You can see here that Aussie Swiss features on the day traders and topside trend traders table, so it's definitely something to be aware of. So we're looking for a potential continuation here on Aussie Swiss. Now you might be thinking, well, why aren't we looking for a position on Aussie Swiss today? Well, it's because we're back at previous lows. Now, the last time we spoke about Aussie Swiss was when we hit this 50 moving average. We traded to the downside. I think we were looking for sort of shorts around about this 59.35 handle. Price didn't come back, unfortunately. It continued to press to the downside. It did come back up, however, and retest this kind of consolidation before another move. But at the moment, it's at lows. So I'm going to sit out of this market for now, just because I'm not comfortable taking another short until we can trade lower. And what I mean by that is, if I just open this up a little bit more, you can actually see that I've got a level down marked in at the 0 spot 55 handle. That is the sort of major low there. So I would need to see price trade through this consolidation there, or these previous lows that were formed back in May of 2023 or even April. If we can break through those, it would offer us a bit of a better opportunity to trade to the downside, because it would just show us that those sellers are really engaging with the market. Again, if I zoom out a little bit more, you can see that's the area I'm kind of talking about here, these kind of major lows at the 55. So it could move quite a considerable way if it did take out these lows. We just need to wait to see if it can do so. This low here being the 58 spot 58.50 handle is the one I'm talking about, just down through here. Okay, so if we can clear that, it opens the door up for a bit of a move down. But at the moment, dollar yen is the one to watch for us. If price can pull back with the volatility of this afternoon's core and CPI data, then we could look for some further opportunities. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.